Howdy, let me introduce you to Project Gibraltar, my first commercial indie game. This will be a 17th century real-time naval combat game, and this will be the first devlog devoted to the creation of the game. You can really think of this as a spiritual successor to the amazing 1984 game, The Ancient Art of War at Sea. There'll be a strategic map for moving all of your units about and conquering territory. There will of course be naval ship-to-ship combat, and then my favorite part of the game, the boarding action. Hi, I'm Brian, and I've been making software and games for over 30 years now. But I've set a goal for myself that by my 50th birthday coming up here in July, I'm going to release my first indie game. I'll be sharing all my progress here on the channel, so if that's something that you're interested in, I'd love it if you would give me a subscribe and join me here on this journey. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive in, and I'll take you through the progress that I've made in the first week on this project. As I said, my favorite part of that original game was the boarding combat, so I wanted to do some quick prototyping to see how that would go. I quickly got tired of looking at generic shapes running around, so I loaded up some pirate assets I had and got to see if I could make the sword fights look okay. As you can see here, I initially had some trouble with my ragdoll heads. Next, I proceeded to work on the marines for the ships with their muskets. As I really couldn't find any decent pre-built animations for muskets, I had to build this all out with IK. It's still not all that great, but it's good enough for this prototyping phase. What was a real challenge though was figuring out how to make them reload. But then I had the thought that, you know what, these are quick, bloody battles. They really wouldn't have time to do reloading actions, so instead, what they're actually going to do is they're going to take a shot and then switch over to their sabers and proceed forward that way. And then, of course, I put them all together. Next, I wanted to make a larger combat area, so I swapped out that ship that I was using, which required, of course, shifting around the scale of my units a little bit and setting up a new nav mesh that would work with this layout. From here, I wanted to do a scale test to see if I really could fit a lot of sailors on the ships and make sure that the frame rate would stay okay. The final part of my prototype was making sure that I could make buoyancy work with this model. While that will be much more important for the naval combat part, I think it'll make the boarding combat more interesting if the ships are still moving around some. Okay, so for this week the focus will be on pulling all these prototypes together into some type of actual playable boarding combat. I'm also still working on my Federation and Empire game port. I should have a significant update for that next week as well. Anyway, I'd love it if you gave this video a like, and thanks for watching.